always thought silence was harmless. But the silence that hit my phone at 2:47 p.m. that Thursday felt like a warning from the universe. No vibration, no message, just a red notification from my security system flashing across the screen like a heartbeat flatlining. Someone was inside my apartment. I was miles away in downtown Washington, stuck inside a secured Treasury briefing where phones were supposed to stay dark. But I walked out anyway, pretending I needed water. As soon as the door closed behind me, I opened my surveillance app. The feed loaded instantly. Government-grade tech tends to do that. And there she was. My sister Lila, standing in the middle of my living room like she owned the place, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear as casually as if she just stopped by for coffee. She didn't linger. She headed straight for my office door, locked, reinforced, and absolutely not meant for her. Then she reached into her pocket. For a moment I couldn't breathe. She pulled out a lockpicking as my sister, the PDA volunteer, the neighborhood brunch queen, picking my lock like she'd done it 100 times. 4 minutes later, she slipped inside. I switched the feed. She went straight for the safe behind my desk, the one hidden behind that dull framed chart no one ever bothered to look at. She tried birthdays first, our parents', her own, even mine. Watching it was surreal, like witnessing someone peel back the skin of your life without hesitation. Then she pulled out her phone, opened some shady app, and held it against the keypad. 5 minutes later, the safe clicked open and she smiled, this delighted little smirk, as if she just solved a puzzle instead of committing a federal felony. She took the 3 sealed folders inside, flipped them open, frowned at their contents, then shoved them into her purse anyway. No hesitation. No second thought. $500,000 in Treasury bearer bonds, gone in seconds. I sat there in the hallway of a classified building, holding my phone like it was burning me. When I finally moved, I made 3 calls. My supervisor, the Inspector General, the Secret Service Task Force. Every one of them told me the same thing. Don't go after her. Don't contact her. Let the system do what it's built to do. By the time I was on the train home, the weight of what she'd done pressed against my ribs like a stone. I kept replaying the footage in my head. Lila breaking into my world with the same entitlement she'd used to walk through every one of our parents' excuses. When I arrived at my family home that evening, her shiny SUV was already in the driveway. Perfect timing. They'd gathered for dinner. A full table, laughter floating through the house like nothing in the world could ever go wrong. She looked beautiful, polished, glowing. Exactly how she always looked when she wanted something. "Hey sis," she said, raising her glass. "Still drowning in that paperwork job?" I smiled back. "Something like that." She exchanged a smug look with her husband, Mark. "We've been doing some big investing lately," she said. "Real securities. Grown-up stuff." I let that sit. Our parents beamed with pride. Uncle Ray refilled everyone's wine. It felt like I was watching a play, everyone reading lines they didn't understand, so I cut in. "Lila," I said quietly, "where'd you get the money for those investments?" She didn't even blink. "Oh, funny thing. I stopped by your apartment. Used the extra key Mom had. I borrowed some old certificates you had stuffed in a safe behind that ugly chart. Honestly, Sarah, you should have used a better combination." She laughed at my parents, bless them, just looked confused. "You brought them?" I asked. She reached into her purse and placed the folders on the table like she was showing off party favors. "They're just old government bonds. Mark's advisor said we can cash them next week. Maybe 15,000 if we're lucky." I stared at her. She truly didn't know. "Lila," I said, keeping my voice steady, "did you break into my home?" "Oh, come on. I borrowed a key." "And the locked office door?" I watched a tutorial. "Don't be dramatic." "And the safe. There's an app for everything." She smirked again, proud of herself, and that's when I told her. "The papers you stole aren't old bonds. They're Treasury bearer bonds. Total value, $500,000. They're government instruments I maintain for federal investigations. They're tracked, serial registered, classified." The blood drained from her face. "You're joking." "I filed the theft report 4 hours ago," I said. "They've been monitoring you ever since." The doorbell rang. Everybody froze. A sharp voice echoed through the house. "Treasury Inspector General. We need to speak with Lila Carson." My mother gasped. My father stood, trembling. Lila grabbed the edge of the table like she could anchor herself to it. "This is insane," she whispered. "You wouldn't do this to me." But when the agents entered, badges raised, voices steady, Her voice cracked into something small and childish. Somebody do something. She's lying. They're just pieces of paper. No, the lead agent said, lifting the folders. They're federal property worth $500,000. And your attempt to cash them activated federal fraud protocols. Lila sobbed as they pulled her from her chair. Mascara streaking. Hands shaking, the golden child collapsing under reality. Sarah, she cried. Please, I'm your sister. And for a moment, I swear, I felt my heart split. But then I remembered her smiling as she opened my safe, confident. Entitled. Certain she'd get away with anything. You did this to yourself? I whispered. They recited her rights as they let her out the door. My mother cried silently. My father stared at the empty doorway like he could will her back. Mark sat pale and motionless, realizing he might be investigated too when the SUVs pulled away, sirens off, lights off, silence closing in. Uncle Ray finally asked, Sarah, what exactly do you do? I looked around the table, at the shock, the heartbreak, the disbelief. I protect the financial security of this country, I said. And today that included protecting it from my own sister. For a long time no one spoke. Finally I added, the truth is, the rules were always going to catch up to her. I just didn't expect to watch it happen at our parents' dinner table. And I still don't know what hurt more. Losing my sister to her own choices. Or realizing she never saw the difference between family property and federal property until it was too late.